Hi guys, Tech here, and I wanted to do something a little different. This is going to be a little more speculation driven. Before we do get started, if you would be so kind to like, comment, subscribe. It does help the channel out quite a bit. And also, if you're not aware, we are doing a headhunter giveaway this week, which is the week of January the 18th, 2022. And I will have a link to that below if you would like to get more details on how to enter. So what I wanted to talk about today is this in comparison to the Atlas of Worlds expansion. So in the Atlas of Worlds expansion, we had 5 supporter packs. Each of the 5 supporter packs essentially mirrored one of the new bosses that were coming, and they were named after the new bosses that were coming. So this might not be entirely spoilery, but until we have the live stream on the 27th, this is kind of as close as we get to a spoiler, with using some logic and looking at some things in the past to kind of go over what we may possibly have as our 5 new bosses. What I am expecting to happen is one of 2 scenarios. So scenario 1 is these guys literally kill our current champions. So as the Guardians, the 4 Guardians, killed Shaper, I'm expecting these 4 guys to come and kill them. Where Watchstones can stay basically the same, but maybe they have some different modifiers on them that are of the Eldritch nature, because a lot of these have Eldritch vibes to them. And Eldritch is kind of not super well lore-wise dug out. So I'm kind of thinking that that's a possibility. The other possibility is they could be new in-game maps, kind of like what we originally had with Shaper before the Elder maps. So when you're running a T15 plus, you could drop these, and then that way you would still get all the same influences. It could kind of go either way. I wouldn't be surprised either way. And I'm hoping we're getting new influence types that will help boost the power level back up, because a lot of builds right now, especially like melee and self-cast and totems, aren't in a particularly good spot. And so it'd be nice to see some modifiers that may help propel them into a really competitive place and hopefully balance the game out a little bit more than it is currently. So the very first one, which is Incinerator, it has like a ghost flame color to it that's typically designated to chaos, or it can alternatively be designated to fire as like an alt quality fire. So I would guess you're gonna either see chaos damage or fire damage just off the coloration of this particular one. Now, the one thing I will mention is the back skin does have like swords basically, or daggers in it. So I could also see it having a fizz. So maybe it's like half fizz, then a quarter fire, quarter chaos. That could be a possibility. But I would expect fizz, chaos, or fire from this particular one. The Nullifier, so this screams Eldritch to me. It has the void look to it. So from what we know about Elder, his is basically fizz and cold primarily. So I would expect some combination of fizz and cold here, especially with the blue highlights essentially to the black, where it is more muted than like Stygian, which Stygian kind of now is all over the board, but originally it was more elemental based. I could see this being more fizz based. Maybe something like the Elder has with the tentacles, where it is, you know, basically an ancestral war chief. Maybe it does like a slam because it is a two-hander. So some thoughts there. Our next one, which is Annihilator. Now this has like a combination of celestial, a little bit of fire, and a little bit of Nightwing. So I would kind of think this would be more in the realm, and it's like crimson and gold. So this is probably going to be fire and possibly lightning together, would be what I would kind of expect for the damage types. Now the other thing is the armors from the Atlas of World, it doesn't represent the size of the character, nor the skeletal structure of the character, but it does fairly closely replicate the actual art of the character. So it might not look exactly the same, but it normally looks pretty close. Except for the in-game boss. The in-game boss was a little different. It just kind of took themes from it. So I would expect all these bosses to look kind of similar to this. So it's like a preview of them. Then we have the Ravager. Now this one, from what we've seen, this is the portal effect essentially is a boss. And I would not be surprised if the boss looks more like the portal effect than the skin. Although the skin being used could be one of these sub-bosses. Actually, it's pretty close, other than like the red eyes. It may even look like this. This one's carrying a bow, so that might indicate that this is going to be kind of like the Eldritch Hydra. And in that case, I would expect to see a not maybe as mainstream of a bow attack, but maybe something that is kind of under the radar bow attack wise be revamped, or a new bow skill be used specifically with this boss fight. It would actually be really cool to see a boss that uses either Scourge Arrow or Ice Shot, because both of those are really underutilized in the game, and you can scale them pretty uniquely depending on how you go about it. But that would be cool, like maybe Cold Fizz, or I could also see with the like the blue flame, maybe it's pure elemental, maybe like a Trinity character would be pretty cool. Another thing is all these have like some sort of wings, and so that might be a theme going in there. And then finally, incinerator support. This looks like a death, like a burning or a fallen angel. It's got beautiful artwork. Beautiful artwork. It's got some gloom to it, and then it also has a little bit of fire and a little bit of like ember effects to it. If I had to guess, this would be either the hardest of the Guardians, or it would be the last boss, and we were actually previewed one of the minor bosses. Like I could see this being one of the 4 bosses, and I could see this being the final boss, or I could see this not being a boss, and these 4 being the lower 4 bosses. Also, the names are pretty on point for Path of Exile boss names. I would expect some kind of flight mechanic in maybe a damage over time, either maybe like even like a chaos fire damage over time. I could see something like that working here. Also, can we talk about the portal frames are absolutely gorgeous this time around. And it's a shame that we don't have the portal frames more pronounced in the game. But those are absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, I have already purchased some of these supporter packs. I will probably do a stair step, and then another stair step is typically how I do it. So I do it in like a batch of 3, essentially. So like I'll buy one off the bat, and then I'll do an upgrade into another upgrade, because I do like to get all these, and we typically will have more time to purchase these as well. And it's my way of supporting the game, because I do love this game and I do want them to keep developing it and improving upon it. You don't have to do that, but for the most part, from my experience, GGG has been a pretty good guide developer. I like, the only thing that kind of hangs me up is like, I don't like the fact that hideouts are bought. Like, I think hideouts should be able to be earned in game, and you should be able to like not go through something very difficult to buy them. So an ease of access for a hideout is fine to me. I just wish it was in-game earnable, because I don't like I have no problem with MTX and cosmetic items. Hideouts are a little different for me personally. Like, I think they should be achievable in-game, all of them. And I know that might hurt bottom line a little bit, but it does give you a sense. Like, imagine if every major boss fight had a small chance to give that arena as a hideout. It would encourage more people to do those boss fights, right? So like, you could get the Minotaur's Cavern, or you could get Itziri's Throne Room, or you could get Azzaro's Throne Room. Like, that kind of stuff would be super cool, and I wish that more went into that to encourage people to boss, instead of to basically spend money and not get some of the iconic scenes in the game. Like, I think it would be cool to earn the iconic scenes, and it's something that they basically already had the programming for, because they could basically just expand the room out X amount of tiles and like fill in some cool stuff in the middle or whatever, and it's good. But anyway, I digress. So that's kind of my stipulation, is that you're either going to, it's either going to be all 5 of these, or 4 out of the 5 that will actually be an in-game boss that you'll be able to look like. I'm really excited to see what our in-game will look like, and I cannot wait till the 27th till we have more details, and then I can also get into more of a strategy video behind what we're kind of looking at as we have more information. But I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, Exiles.